not only one product line, but many product lines are using the same language. And this will definitely provide a cost advantage to those banks which are in these businesses.
Welcome to Chapter 3 of this masterclass discussion on correspondent banking. My name is Michael Imson. I'm from the Banker magazine. I'm joined by Werner Steinmüller, who's Head of Global Transaction Banking at Deutsche Bank, and his colleague Markus Serre, Head of Institutional Cash. We've been talking about regulatory compliance and new regulations, and we're now going to move on to standardization, industry standardization. So, Markus, there's a lot happening at the moment in international payments to standardize everything, especially ISO 20022. Could you tell us exactly what is happening and with a focus on this new ISO standard?
Yes, my pleasure. So we are talking in these days about ISO 20022, but it's not that new. We first talked about this in 2004, which means so we are almost a decade into the conversations about ISO 20022. And we in Deutsche Bank, we see a huge potential in that. Why? Simply because it simplifies global business communication. It provides a common standard for financial infrastructure. It's similar like everybody in the world would speak English or Mandarin in 10 years from now, so the communication would be much easier. For example, if you look to SEPA. In SEPA, all the interbank transactions are already handled in ISO 20022, and there's more to come. Financial market infrastructures like, for example, Target 2 or EBA Euro 1 clearing, they are expected to move to ISO 20022 by 2017. But it's not just Europe. If you go to Canada, the Canadian Payment Association is talking about to implement this between 2016 and 2020. Moving to Asia Pacific, the Bank of Japan has plans to introduce this as an addition to the BOG-net at the end of next year. And also in Australia, you see that there are talks about having a local payment, a low-value payment system, which uses ISO 20022 by 2017. So it seems very much that the next decade is switching from the traditional infrastructure, from the traditional language, to a common language in the payment area. But it's not just about payments. When you look, for example, at Target 2 Securities, T2S, which is a huge investment focus for Deutsche Bank, Target 2 Securities will also use ISO 20022 as of day one. So security settlement transactions will be communicated in that language. And I think this provides for the banks which are committed to invest in these infrastructures also a huge opportunity, because now not only one product line, but many product lines are using the same language. And this will definitely provide a cost advantage to those banks which are in these businesses.
Mm-hmm. That's all very technical. Werner, could you give us kind of the big picture on standardization as you see it?
Yeah. I see two kinds of standardization. One standardization is driven by the industry, and the best example is SWIFT. SWIFT is a global standard used by all banks with an extremely high acceptance rate around the globe. There's other standardization driven by politicians, and SEPA is a good example here. SEPA, the single euro payment area, but is it really a single? When you look into details, a lot of countries made their own twist to it, protect partially the local market, and make it not a real European standard. And this is when politicians came in and discussed about Europe with all of the countries, saying we need special rules. And I think this is where we as an industry have to be very tough with them and saying, if it's a European standard, it has to be a European standard. So we are not can do everything with one account, which was really the promise. Secondly, there will be always countries which have difficulties with sending payments in different standards. So we have to cope with it using converters in order to do it. So yes, the dream is one global standard, but it is not possible because we see more and more political regulations, and I hope with Target 2 Securities we get a better systems than with SEPA on standardization.